common discussion that I keep seeing in the bodybuilding fitness forums on Facebook for vegan bodybuilding is the question, is it healthy to consume 10% of your calories from fat? And then the other one is it beneficial, or is it good, I guess is another way people describe it, to consume 10% of your calories from fat? And they're kind of like interwoven questions from people as if they were the same thing. And the reason I want to address this is because I do not believe they are related. The questions, is it healthy to consume 10% of your calories from fat? And is it beneficial to consume 10% of your calories from fat for bodybuilding, for strength training, for other forms of sports? And my opinion of this is and I'm going to break this up into two different videos. This one's going to be, is it beneficial? We're going to talk about the benefits of consuming 10% or above that in your calories from fat. Now, many of you, anyone who's watched my videos knows I followed the 80-10-10 diet for, at least a year and a half. And I still follow it. In terms of, my overall caloric intake, or something about that. I can't say that my dietary fats every day is at around 10% or below. Sometimes it's 15%. I doubt it usually gets much above that because I have such a large caloric intake. My caloric intake is 4,000 plus calories a day. And so, when you're eating that many calories, going from say 50 grams of fat to 75 grams of fat, that's not that, as far as a percentage goes, that's not a big jump. So, sometimes I think there are cases where percentages are deceptive to people. So if I say I consume 10% of my calories from fat, then people say, oh, well, that's very low. Well, for the amount of calories that I take in for a day, that's pretty low. But considering, for most people, if you're just going by grams, then, saying 50 or up to 75 grams of fat a day, that's a lot. You're like, dang, that's a lot of fat. Well, yeah, it is. But I consume a lot of calories, so, I don't know how you reconcile that. I don't know what I don't know how people feel about that. I don't know how I feel about it, but, you feel however you want about it. So we're going to talk about growth. Now, one of the big things that I see from raw vegans and from other 80-10-10ers, I still consider myself an 80-10-10er, even though I eat a great deal of starches. I still eat, because of my caloric intake, I probably do eat as much fruit as most other 80-10-10ers. I just eat additional starches to make up for the caloric intake. I mean, maybe some people do. Maybe it's normal to have 4,000 and 5,000 calories a day for some people. I don't get that from most people, though. Anyway, so, growth. One of the things I see from other 80-10ers is that they'll make the point, and it's a very good point, that, when we're discussing children or babies, how much calories should they take? And the thing is, well, mother's milk only gets 5% of its calories from protein. But then it gets, say, 50% of its calories from fat and maybe 45 from carbohydrate or something about that. Something with a very large fat intake. And the reason for that is that fat produces growth. It produces growth in fat. So you're going to put on fat, like John McDougall says, the fat you eat's the fat you wear. And then, but it's also going to produce growth in other ways. It's going to produce muscle growth. So yeah, there may be some benefits to that. Now I know Carl S., most of you, if you've watched my videos, or you've discovered me at some point, then you probably discovered Carl S. long ago, because he's a very popular video contributor to YouTube. Vegan, follows mostly raw diet. But he said, don't, if you're wanting to put on weight, don't go above 50 grams of fat, and don't go above, say, 100 grams of protein. Now, I don't usually go above 100 grams of protein because I don't think I need to. But at the same time, you know, I don't think that I'm doing too much detriment to myself. I'm not interested in aesthetics per se. I mean, I know when I first started this channel, I posted all of the vegan bodybuilding posing type videos, and that was in part because, that was what I was familiar with. That was what, I mean, not familiar with per se, but usually when, you talk to people, they're talking about bodybuilding or something, all weight training or things like that usually get lumped into bodybuilding, and I was like that. That was when I thought of weightlifting. That's what I thought of. I thought, oh, well, they're a bodybuilder. Well, as I've learned and grew and studied in the sport of weightlifting, I discovered that, it was a pretty broad term. There was Olympic weightlifting, which I thoroughly enjoy watching. I don't have a great deal of experience in it, but I'm a fan. I like watching it. I like following the athletes. Then there's powerlifting. There's strongman. There's all of the CrossFit sports, which involve various aspects of all three of those. And so, there are all these other areas that are much less well known, and they have weight classes. Now, this is another place where fat plays a role, our dietary fat needs or uses. So, with the dietary fat thing, the thing is, you're going to get larger. It's going to help with strength because you're getting larger. But in terms of actually being competitive in your sport, I don't know that it's as smart of an idea to consume any large amounts of fat because, somebody that's in the 135 weight class, I'm not sure what the weight classes are for powerlifting exactly, 135 pounds, say they have a 500-pound squat, or that would be huge, a 500-pound deadlift is what I meant, then, they're gonna excel pretty well. That's a lot of weight for that weight class. Well, you bump them up to the 183-pound weight class, I'm familiar with that one, for powerlifting, then you're not going to be as competitive there. That's not going to be a competitive area. A 500-pound deadlift isn't going to do you as well in the 183-pound weight class as it is in the 135-pound weight class. So growing in size for that group may not be beneficial. Anytime you, like I said before, you're increasing your fat, you're not just going to grow muscle. You're not just going to grow size that way. You're going to get fat. In fact, babies, when they do that, I have 3 kids. Each time before they went through a growth spurt, they got chubby. They got real chubby, and then all of a sudden they started getting real skinny again, and they, as they grew. So I don't, those are my opinions. Those are just some ideas, some concepts. You apply those however you want to. But I just wanted to bring that out. Tomorrow's video, or the next video I do, I'll probably make it tomorrow. I don't know if I'll post it or not. But the next video will cover, is it healthy to consume only 10% of your calories from fat? We'll discuss the origins of that, why the general recommendation is to consume more than that, and hopefully there will be some good posters and responders to that, but I'll provide you with at least the science and what I've seen on it. Thanks.